Hey yo, we're back with the next episode of our Sryth Fantasy Text-Based RPG. Hey, look, I'm up to rank 65. How awesome. So last time we were doing Proving Grounds 1, and going through that. What I want to do before we do that is to, of course, go to South Tribe Lynn and get the Goblin Claw in and do the old man thing. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. So let's go. So yeah, we're gonna go into the inn and do the omen. I don't reread it every time because it's long and it says the same thing every time, pretty much. So we just fight the skeleton and then wonder how many of these is left is my question. And then we're gonna go to my castle, do some upgrades. And he wants me to come back tomorrow, so we're not yet done. Alright, what I want to do is go to... what is it? Northeast? No, southeast? Yeah, southeast. So my castle... I still gotta make it safe. Hey, candles, it's ruminers up. I'm so late. I'm gonna purchase some new ones. So you got a dining table. Statue of me, that's Maine. Well, thank you. Twin Dragon Fountain, sounds awesome. Takaback Shield. Grand Tapestry. That sounds lovely. With that. Twin Takaback Shield. Living Tapestry, definitely don't want to do that. Mounted Troll Head, why would I want that in my house? Thank you. All living statues, which all this goes with. Orbs of Moonlight. I already have torches. Well, we should definitely have a larder. Alright, I'm gonna just do those two and then we're gonna upgrade. Is that gonna let me improve? Oh, I gotta save my game before I... Alright, save my game. Yes. Okay, let's visit my functional. Always could use some free necromancy experience. Always continue to study your craft, folks. And then improve on, yes, let's start with larder. And that's it. That's all we can do in the castle today. I mean, we could do the quest, but I'm not worried about that right now. Besides that, what I want to do is... well, let's just hit it. I didn't mean that. Let's just hit it back to Hawklore. And then go to the blue door for my quest experience bonus. Let's see if we can upgrade any powers. Oh, it seems so. I'm gonna do destruction since it was being real. Since it murdered me last time. It didn't save me. Alright. Got enough for any skills? We do not. Hey, but I'm level 65. Let's check that out. Sweet. Alright, let's continue on our Proving Grounds 1. The enemy unmasked. The true face of the enemy is real as you make a last desperate stand in the chamber of the shadow path. Oh yeah, that sounded horrible. Yes, she saw her father, but then something's coming out of the shadow path. continue. Four gray-skinned ogres emerge from the shadow path. A pair of bat-like black wings protrude from each of their backs, and their hands are clenched, iron-hafted axes. Behind the ogres, a cloaked, slithering figure emerges from the vortex. The cloaked figure appears to have human-like arms and hands, and the head and torso of a large snake. The hideous cloaked creature hisses loudly, and at once the four winged ogres fly across the chamber and slay the four foresters in a matter of seconds. The masked men in this chamber suddenly drop to their knees and bow their heads in the direction of the cloaked figure. The cloaked figure hisses loudly and issues a direct command to the masked men. "Rise, my brethren," the creature hisses. "Rise and reveal yourselves to me." And in unison, the masked men rose to their feet and slowly bring up their gaze to meet that of the cloaked figure. Taken back at a hideous and shocking transformation begins to take place. The bodies of the masked men begin to contort and morph, and there's some new, more terrifying forms. You realize that while the men were retaining their human-like arms and hands, their torsos have changed than those of large snakes, just as the cloaked creature that emerged from the shadow path. You look at O'Leary, and she stares back at you in shocking unison. You both whisper the same word. Tazaro. I don't know how you say that. It is now clear the masked raiders are Tazaro that have assumed human form. It is also clear that they have succeeded in unlocking the Shadow Gate and reopening the Shadow Path, inviting into this world the cloaked Tazaro and the winged ogre minions. This bodes very evil. This bodes very ill, whispers O'Leary. I fear an entire army is about to pour through the portal unless we can figure out something quickly. Suddenly the rogue Tazaro turns in your direction and motions with his hand, pulling the door open and unseen magic and revealing you to the gathered company. The Tazaro hiss angrily and narrows its bright yellow eyes as it glares with hatred upon its least favorite species. "I will not have my re-emergence in this world marred by the likes of such bile. Slay them and let us begin the invasion." Two of the winged ogres take flight and hurtle across the chamber towards you, and their axes raised to hack you and O'Leary to pieces. O'Leary steps to the right and you step to the left, separating yourself. As O'Leary unleashes an arc of blue flame at one of the ogres, you find yourself quickly entangled with the other. Dead. You turn to see how O'Leary has failed, and finally she is just stepping over the child corpse of her staff at the ready for a second pair of winged beasts flying across the chamber to attack you. Engage one. "Watch those snakes. Watch those snakes," warns O'Leary as you both step closer together, and your eyes glued to the six sword-wielding Tazaro that are drawing themselves into combat formation in the middle of the chamber. The robot Tazaro still standing directly in front of the swirling shadow path, issues the order, and its 6 stone-wielding kin slither rapidly across the floor towards you. "They're just the same as those masked raiders we've been having our way with. No better, no worse. No quarter, Allison." "Yes, ma'am." Second wave. The six advancing Saro quickly divide their attack, and the two of their number launching themselves at O'Leary while the four close in on you, one at a time. Okay, step over that body. Despite having witnessed two of its kin meeting their doom by your hand, the third shows no sign of fear. The vicious creature hisses and swipes at you with a deadly sharp longsword. The last of the four slithers into melee range and attacks. All six of the Tazaro are dead. O'Leary rejoins you at your side, but before you can concoct a plan of action, something entirely unexpected happens. The rogue Tazaro raises its hand, the swords of your fallen foes raise as the air comes together in a rotating mass at the ceiling in the middle of the chamber. The wicked creature waves its hand, and instantly the 6 blades are hurtling through the air towards you. I don't trust anything but fortification these days. Whew. The 6 swords glance harmlessly off your hastily erected magical barrier and clatter to the floor. Your eyes are drawn to the shadow path, where something large has begun to emerge. A massive flickering forked tongue protrudes from the swirling black vortex, and a hiss like a roar of rushing wind fills the chamber. "Your father be with us," mutters O'Leary as she takes a single broad steps in the direction of the shadow path. "Yes, may the old father be with us." A beast from beyond. Get it? The head of a massive grey-scaled serpent emerges from the shadow path with an unexpected speed. Of gigantic reptile slithers out the swirling portal, nearly filling half the room with its tremendous bulk. The serpent rears up and scratches open its cavernous mouth, revealing long, sharp fangs dripping with venom. Devour them, hisses the robe Cesaro. Hit it. Your arrow strikes the serpent in the throat, and for a moment the giant creature recoils in pain. Seizing an opportunity to lay its lay is presented, and Leary unleashes a bolt of blue flame at the giant snake, and you leap forward to attack. Let the bolt hit first, right? With a shudder that shakes the entire chamber, the massive serpent is at last claimed by death. The robe Cesaro looks as honest unbelief as the unmoving corpse of the creature has once believed to be invincible. He wants to be believed to be invincible. There is little time to dwell on your victory, however, for them slithering across the chamber towards you. The Cesaro mage who opened the shadow gate, his gloved hand again wreathed in black flame. You recount your two previous encounters with Dead Cecily fell when he was in the guise of the silent leader of the mass raiders. No place to run, says Larry as he draws closer. Unlucky for him. Yeah, girl, that's right. The final stand. Three sword-wielding Cesaro suddenly emerged from the shadow gate, and the robe Cesaro, still standing before the swirling vortex, directs them to attack. Join the attack. The three of them slid rapidly across the chamber, but Leary stepped forward to meet their advance, leaving you to face the Cesaro mage alone. Who's run like 5 times, so you should know that I'm not anybody to be tribal with. The Cesaro mage emits a ragged hiss as it collapses on the floor. Leary is still battling one of the Cesaro. She is intercepting you, about to rush her side when the sound from behind spins you around. Standing behind you, his sword poised to cut you down, is an uncommonly large Cesaro. Before you can react, the snake man grunts in agony and pitches forward. His head strikes the stone floor, and its floor clattering from its glass. Standing in the shadows behind the fallen creature is none other than Tui. Tui the Terrible, at your service, he grins, reaching down to extract his long-bladed knife from the back of the dead Cesaro. Mind you, they don't always go as easy as that. What luck! Leary was seeing the last of her foes and retreats to where you stand with Tui. She seems as surprised as you are to see him, but says nothing while she tries to catch her breath. Go on, tend to that one, said Tui, motioning to the robe Cesaro before the shadow path. I'll get the old man safely. Don't bother about it. Do we trust this guy? Tui steps back from the shadow and begins to skirt the perimeter of the chamber, making his way toward the barely conscious Jathor. The robed Cesaro before the shadow path hisses harshly, and four more of his cruel and kin file through the portal and slither across the chamber, two headed for you and two for Leary. You step boldly forward to engage the first of the vicious snake men. Second sword-wielding Cesaro is upon you almost immediately. Before Cesaro is dead, you and Leary step towards the shadow path, your eyes fixed on the robe Cesaro. The wicked creature's eyes narrow, and it hisses sharply. You're too late, humans, he hisses. 6 legions await my command to begin the invasion of this world, which has long been promised them. The realm of men is about to crumble. There is no. Suddenly, when Leary steps forward and thrusts out a hand in the direction of the robe Cesaro, a split second later, an unseen force slams into the cruel creature, sending it tumbling backwards into the swirling vortex where it disappears from sight. Quickly, said Leary. She dashed out the chamber. We must close the shadow path. Yeah, we do. Well, I have Olivia charges. I have shadow magic. You're not gonna let me use shadow magic? Olivia charges across the chamber and steps so 12 feet from the shadow path. She closes her eyes and begins chanting softly. She attempts to lock the shadow path gate that will seal the dangerous never portal. Her body begins to tremble. Every ounce of energy pours into the grueling endeavor. Yeah, I know something bad to you. Lyric gasps and staggers forward. The shadow path suddenly disappears. Your exertions have paid off as the shadow gate is once again locked. When he returns to you and a surprised look on her face, he convinces you of a fine showing. That's as easy as we could have hoped for, she says, visibly drained but otherwise no worse for the effort. I didn't know you were quite so versed in the craft. You continue to surprise me, Allison. Having rescued Jathor and closed the shadow path, you and O'Leary have no desire to linger about here any longer than absolutely necessary, and when you have sufficiently rested, you prepare to make your way out of the temple. Before you go, however, you make quick search of the remains of the fallen enemies and discover the following. Take these. When you ready, you follow O'Leary out of the chamber and out to the temple. Outside the temple, you manage to avoid the masked horsemen still lingering there and make your way into the forest, where you find Tui and Jathor eagerly awaiting your appearance. O'Leary rushes forward and embraces her father. and for several moments neither of them speaks. I keep telling the old man not to worry, laughs Tui, breaking the silence. I told him that his worry would be better spent on your enemies. Larry thanks you and Tui for helping her save her father from the clutches of the enemy. Jathor thanks you and Tui as well, saying he had resigned himself to the thought that he would never leave the temple again, and he never ever expected any rescue tent would survive such overwhelming odds. While O'Leary returns to her father, Tui pulls you aside and tells you that while Jathor rested here, he snuck up down the road and overheard some of the masked men saying that their counterparts were still in Quiris Tayin, planning to raid the nearby village of Southleaf. When you relate this news to O'Leary, her demeanor becomes grim and she resolutely proclaims that she will not allow the fate of Quiris Tayin to befall Southleaf. They can no longer be searching for my father. These Tazara are now plainly showing the true nature of their species and are savage, bloodthirsty killers who wish for nothing less than the extermination of humankind. I will defend Stoneleaf alone if necessary, though somehow I think that won't be the case. Lyria's wary eyes fall upon you, and you instantly initiate a shoulder cross with her, assuring her that you will be by her side in defense of Southleaf. It's quite moving. Yes, indeed, laughs Tui. Well then, leave your father safe to me, and you two take care of yourselves. We'll meet back in Quiris, or what's left of it, at any rate, when it's all said and done. No, still not sure I trust this guy. As you and Lyria prepare to set out through the woods in a desperate trek to reach Southleaf in time, Tui tells you that he and Jathor will remain here until it's safe to move. Lyria bids her father and Tui farewell, and you follow suit before setting off into the woods. Lyria tells you that the road running west and south out of Quiris Tayin leads to the village of Southleaf. She says that the single bridge spans a stream on the road, but just before the village, and this is where the enemy should be engaged if possible. If you can reach it in time, it would be better to confront them on the bridge. Southleaf has no sides from militia, but I have no doubt its citizens will take up arms to defend their home, and without help we might just hold the enemy at the bridge. My only hope is that we're not already too late. Wayward Savage Bear, is that us? Let's go. Your journey to the remote frontier village of Southleaf proves swift, but as you're near the outskirts of the small settlement, you discover that you're not the first to arrive. As you and Lyria make your way through the woods toward the road that leads across the bridge and into this town, the sound of battle reaches your ears through distant and muffled. There's no mistaken sound of brutal combat, and Lyria breaks into a run and you follow suit, knowing that the meager defenses of Southleaf cannot hold to withstand any sort of sustained assault. Suddenly you both stop and pull yourselves behind nearby trees as two hopping forest troll lumber into view a dozen yards ahead. Both beasts have heavy stone axes slung over their backs, and they're moving in direction of Southleaf, no doubt to throw their savage might against whatever resistance struggles there. Lyria steps out from behind the tree and holds aloft a staff. A wide arc of blue flame soars from the tip of her trusted weapon and strikes one of the trolls square in the back. The savage beast roars in pain, and both trolls turn and charge through the trees towards you. While Lyria squares off against the troll she is wounded, you throw yourself at the other one, hoping to make quick work of the foul beast. And we do. Let's hurry, Allison, said Lyria as they step over the carcass of the troll sprawled out at your feet. Pray we're not too late to bolster their defences. You set off through the forest at a rapid pace, moving as quickly as the rugged, tangled terrain will allow. You've gone less than a quarter of a mile when you catch a glimpse of the road leading to Southleaf. The road runs into a wide stone bridge that spans a swift stream, and upon that bridge a brutal battle rages. The Zara, forest trolls, and a band of armored cave goblins are assailing what is a surprisingly size of force of defenders who have managed to hold the eastern shore of the stream. You're stunned when one of the defenders, a man in a torn blue tunic, steps forward and raises his hand and releases a bolt of lightning at the advancing troll. The troll instantly collapses as falling carcass crushes a hapless cave goblin. It appears we're not the only ones who are interested in defending Southleaf, smiles at Lyria. She's just been relieved of a major burden. No matter, they cannot stand against such odds without our help. That's not boasting, mind you, that's the grim truth. To arms, Allison, the battle is joined. You and Lyria sprint out of the woods, cross a knee-deep portion of the swift stream, and climb the steep bank, joining the defenders on the eastern side of the bridge. At first, your sudden appearance is regarded with suspicion, but when Lyria really unleashes a bolt of blue flame that decapitates the charging goblin, any doubt of your allegiance is removed. While Lyria moves to attack a group of trolls that breach the front lines, you move to the foot of the bridge, your heart pounding and every nerve tingling in anticipation of the brutal fight. Wow. One down, 4 to go. 5 forest trolls surge across the bridge, their enraged bellows rising above the din of the battle. 3 pike-wielding militia move to intercept the bridge, but one of them is cut down instantly by the savage swipe from one of the trolls. The 2 surviving pikemen manage to simultaneously gore and slay the troll that killed their comrade, but the 4 forest trolls still bearing down on them their odds of survival seem slim indeed. The two pike-wielding militiamen are startled when you step in front of them and strike a defiant, battle-ready stance only moments before the next troll arrives. Death. Next troll roars, and it's dead. Third troll, and dead. Fourth troll, and two cave goblins. The two pikemen whose lives you have inevitably saved are engaged with the four cave goblins. They seem to be holding their own against foul creatures, so you turn your eyes elsewhere to see where your combat prowess can be put to best use. Tazarals! It doesn't take long you find yourself in the midst of battle after helping one of the beleaguered militiamen put down a particularly stubborn cave goblin you set upon by four advancing Cesaro. You skillfully position yourself near the foot of the bridge so you only have to face the vicious snake men one at a time. The next one hisses and comes forward, forwards and attacks. The last of the four Cesaro are larger and much more menacing than those that have preceded. The fearsome reptilian moves into melee range, the blade of its sword cutting the air in inches from your head. Why are they always swiping at my head, huh? Before Jathor are dead, you step over the hideous pile of reptilian flesh at your feet as your eyes scour the scene of battle for the next engagement. The band of vicious cave goblins, their faces covered in dark war paint, are advancing across the bridge, cutting a path through any of the militia brave enough to stand against them. One of the goblins, a particularly brutish creature wielding a heavy broadsword, drives them onward, lashing out at any of his kin who show the slightest sign of delay. The large goblin roars with a cruel delight as you step into the path of his legion's advance, determined to make a stand here and now against the cruel humanoids. Two spear-wielding goblins rush forward and attack. Dead. You barely finish off the first two cave goblins when the next two launch their attack. The brutish goblin leader growls triumphantly as he waits for his minions to cut you down. Four goblins, one wielding a spear and the other wielding swords, rush forward as their leaders command an attack. The one-eyed goblin leaps at you from the side, catching you off guard. You manage to avoid his murderous ambush and prepare to defend yourself as sprite creatures draw a long-bladed knife and goes to your throat. Four goblin warriors, having just cut down two militiamen, turn their attention to you and attack you without mercy. Enraged beyond a reason, the brutish leader of the cave goblin shoves the remnants of his legion aside and strides forward to attack you with a heavy broadsword, poised to cut you down. Brutish cave goblin leader. Dead. The cave goblins in the immediate vicinity scatter and flee upon witnessing the death of their fearsome leader. Your eyes scour the scene of battle for the next engagement. Time. Weird. A terror among trolls. Stalking across the bridge, its massive axe hacking down anything unfortunate enough to cross its path, is a massive forest troll. The terrifying beast gnaws at you as you stride ahead, boldly meeting its advance and initiating a battle to the death. Troll. To the death. The master troll staggers. Hey, rejuvenation. The side of the bridge and pitches off the edge to the swift stream below, its lifeless body floating along the channel just below the surface of the water. Your eyes scour the scene of the battle for your next engagement. Blades of fire. Three Tazaro, the blades of their swords covered in flaming oil, advance upon you, hissing wildly as they initiate their coordinated attack. Black blood covers the ground where the twisted remains of the three Tazaro lie. You step over their corpses and scour the scene of the battle for your next engagement. Okay, last one. A rallying cry goes up from the defenders of Southleaf as the remaining Tazaro and a handful of surviving trolls hastily retreat along the bridge and regroup on the far side of the stream. You hear someone shouting your name and you turn to find Illyria rushing your direction with a man in the blue tunic by her side. Sinsicor has led the resistance here, she says, still trying to catch her breath. He's a caster of some renown, actually from Telenas, and his rivals seem just as timely as our own. We have not yet broken our foe, I fear, but we were not the easy prey they hoped for either. Sensika steps forward and bows deeply, keeping one eye on the enemy that is regrouping on the far side of the bridge. You need no introduction, Allison, he says as he raises from his bow and meets you in the shoulder cross. I've heard much about you. Your reputation speaks for yourself. Your reputation speaks for itself. It is well earned. I'm honored to fight by your side. Before you can speak with him, find out O'Leary points out the citizen militia is in bad shape. Over half of the 2 dozen men that rallied to defend Southleaf are dead or dying. The handful that remain are shaken and do not appear to be eager to engage enemy again. It may be 3 against the tide, says Sensical, his hand tapping the hilt of his sword slung from his waist. O'Leary orders the remaining militia to retreat into the village and prepare the last defense in the streets if unnecessary. She then rejoins you at Sensical, her eyes fixed firmly on the far side of the bridge. They are waiting for something. They're waiting for something, she says, her tone ominous. Moments later, her words prove true, that ever since you wish that they hadn't. Flanked by 2 of his armored kin, the broad-chested Tazaro slithers across the center of the bridge, his hands folded neatly across his scaled midsection. The fearsome snake man says at the 3 of you with his bright yellow eyes narrowed. The Temple Raiders return. He hisses coldly. My brother shall never again enter this world because of your meddling. But that is of no consequence now. I was not in Draka here, for should I have been, we would not be facing one another now. Do not think, humans, you are merely cleaning up what is left of our force. I, Skarbak the Slayer, am he that you should fear. Low hum fills the air as Skarbak raises his arms. 3 swirling black portals open simultaneously in front of the sinister Tazaro. Both come, he roars. Roars the voice of Skarbak. With the hum of the portals come forth and feast on the flesh of these rats. 3 skeletal Tazaro lurch out of the portals, each wielding a long sword and bearing a steel buckler. Long, drawling hisses escape when their flesh is spoused, their eye sockets ignite with a ghostly red fire. One for each of us, quips O'Leary, and the concern evident in her face. I haven't got a very good feeling about this. As the 3 skeletal Tazaro begin rapidly slithering towards you, Sensical leaps forward, swinging his blade, and Larry follows close behind him. You quickly find yourself engaged with one of the terrifying creatures. But I'm very good at undead stuff, so bad move. The 3 undead Tazaro are no more. You fall back to the foot of the bridge, and Larry and Sensical arrive at your side, both of them wounded but still on their feet. Here they come now, cautioned Sensical. The 2 Tazaro that flank Skarbak slither rapidly toward you, brandishing their long swords in an unnerving display of skill. Fire erupts from the tips of O'Leary's staff, and an arc of flame hurtles at one of the advancing Tazaro. The vicious snake man nimbly twists to his side, dodging the attack. The Tazaro that O'Leary attacks turns his attention to her, and Sensical comes to her aid, leaving you to face the other alone. You know what's up. Having finished off your opponent, you turn to see how O'Leary and Sensical have fared, and find that they are moving in a direction, leaving a smoldering pile of charred Tazaro flesh on the ground behind them. Skarbak hisses loudly and summons the remaining 8 Tazaro and 4 strolls to the center of the bridge, where they gather about him. Skarbak suddenly erupts into a whirlwind of violence, beheading 2 of the trolls and swinging a single swipe of his deadly blade, and then turns his sword on the 8 Tazaro and the 2 remaining trolls, slaying them all in this swift, brutal fashion, displaying a level of skill you never have witnessed in any living warrior. Dragons take flight, and griffins scour the theirs. When Skarbak the Slayer roams near, he hisses as he slithers away from the pile of carnage is created inside across the bridge toward you. Do not think that such pitiful fools have any respect of no one. No living mortal can hope to kill. I now deliver to you all the horrible death you. Suddenly Skarbak flinches in pain and hisses loudly. The formidable Tazaro warrior spins around and you sort of see Tui standing behind him, the bloody dagger gripping in his quivering hand. Blood runs from the sizable wound in Tazaro's back, but does not appear to have slowed him any. Skarbak slashes out at Tui, dropping him where he stands with a single strike. Tui's dagger clatters from his hand, and a well-intentioned rogue lies unmoving face down the bridge. Skarbak hisses and continues toward the 3 of you. The fear evoked by the daunting Tazaro warrior melts away, replaced by rage of the death of Tui. Oh, what's he doing here? He's supposed to be watching Father. You charge forward with the others, intent on making the evil snake pray for the lifetime of ill deeds. Goodbye, dead. With a final vicious hiss, Skarbak the Slayer slumps to the ground and does not move again. O'Leary prods his corpse with the butt of her staff and makes certainty he is dead. He turned and prepared to rush over the bridge where Tui was struck down and shot, discovered that his body is no longer there. All in a day's work, Allison, comes a voice of Tui from your left. You turn and watch as a grinning Tui emerges from under the bridge, soaked into his waist from the stream. Larry shakes her head and eyes Tui quizzically, while Sinister just stares dumbfounded. What? Oh, that? He said, his tone almost incredulous as he looked back. Oh, don't bother yourselves with that. I still got a few tricks I can call upon now and then, so that's it then, is it? I must say, well done indeed. They'll be writing this one down to beach for sure. Together with Tui, O'Leary, and Sensico, you will assure the people of Southfleet that the threat loom at the gates of their village is now gone, vanished forever. After lending a hand to help them put their immediate affairs in order, you set your sights on returning to Queer's Ta'in, where Tui tells you Jathor has already spearheaded the efforts to rebuild the town. Sensico takes his leave on the outskirts of Southfleet, telling you that you must return to Salinas at once on business. He must return to Salinas at once on business, for which he is already considerably late. This was well met indeed, he says, meeting three of you in a shoulder cross before departing. May our paths cross again someday, and until then, may the All-Father guide you. Farewell, friend. The return to Queer Ta'in is bittersweet, for while it is good to see the town free from enemy that raided and occupied it, it has been almost completely destroyed. A large number of the citizens are dead and missing. Jathor meets the three of you upon your return, and again thank you for all you have done. He listens with great interest at your account during the battle of Skarbek in Southfleet. My greatest fear that someday an evil like Skarbek and Cesaro will succeed in locking a shadow path when there are none about to challenge such wickedness, he says grimly. Tui has decided to linger about Queer's Ta'in for the time being and help out however he can with the cleanup. When you offer your help to O'Leary and Jathor, they kindly refuse and tell that you've done enough already, more than anyone. You're the reason we have anything left to clean up, said O'Leary, placing a hand on your shoulder. There is nothing more we can ask of you, Allison. Just remember to pay us a visit now and then. I suspect that maybe you'll have your fill of the frontier for the next small while. Meet Tui and O'Leary in a shoulder cross. Wish them luck before once again setting out on your way, heading east along the road leading out of Queer's Ta'in in the heart of the kingdom. Congratulations, Allison! We've completed the final scenario of the Proving Grounds. My victory is recorded, but I'm mad because I should be in the first order. 1 death. Psh, mad about it. Alright, well, that's the end of the episode. We finished Proving Ground 1. We might go on to Proving Grounds 2 after one, because we've done 4 and 5 already. We haven't done 2 and 3 yet. So we might continue on that just to get those out of the way and be done with it while we're doing the Old Man quest and build a number castle. And then after that, we'll probably do the castle quest to completion if possible. Could be an ongoing thing, I don't know. But thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Until next time, peace.